Hello and welcome to another exciting pellet review. Today we've got Falcon Accuracy Plus by NSP Products, who own Air Arms and Falcon, and these are made in the JSB factory under license by NSP. They're a 177 7.33 grain pellet. I was actually really surprised by these. I thought they was going to be quite a dull pellet. The ceiling is 4.52mm. I'm not going to turn it over because I've got special pellet marks up in there, which I just found by complete coincidence. So the decoration itself of the tin isn't as exciting as what Air Arms is, considering NSP own Air Arms. This is quite a really dull. Brown is never the colour to get someone's attention, really, let's face it. You get a nice cover of a rifle, the Falcon logo. This pellet here, not quite sure what pellet that is because it certainly ain't one of these ones. Inside the tin, typical, nearly ruined everything there, typical, JSB pop tin. You get a really thick makeup pad with that, so hang on to that if you've got a decent set of pellets. And then inside, if you see this one here, you can see there's a little bit of swarf in there. I found that on quite a few of them, you get a little bit of swarf. When you're firing out the spring rifle, you tend to notice it on, because I test them all on my springers just in case I get some extra accuracy out of that. You get it on the seal, the little O-ring seal, you get little bits of lead deposit on there, or coating deposit. Relatively clean, not many damaged ones, but quite a dull colour, sort of suggesting apparently that means that they're fairly soft. I don't really know, to be honest. You can research that yourself and make your own mind up, but yeah, like I said, bits of debris in there. So let's go have a look at the actual move that over there so it looks a bit better. There we go. Hey, did a drawing this time rather than sort of sit there and just discuss these pellets randomly, boring everybody. Just use the force to reset. So if you look at the drawing, this is ultimately that. I could have put it in a better orientation, couldn't I? You get a radius of 2.57, so it's quite a rounded head. The average is 4.47 millimeters. And then you end up with your overall length and all the rest of it. But what you can see here, so this is the skirt itself, the weight is pretty much 50-50 on these. It's got quite a forward leaning pellet, and it's quite a light skirt as well. It's not rebalanced out right the way along deep into the head, which I find gives you less accuracy, especially at longer ranges. This shot quite well at longer ranges, but I'll go into that another day. Bit of a close up on the pellets then. Let's see if we're going to reset it with that. You can see there inside you got a nice deep base. That gives you a little bit of tracer burst. It's quite a stumpy little pellet. Not very tall, only 5.36mm against most of them, which are about high 6s to sort of early 7mm. And we'll go into the cost, quality, and delivery, and the quality of them on the computer. Here's some I shot into a little bit of ballistic putty. As you can see, it just sort of compresses nicely in on itself. Speed that these fire out at on the spring rifle, my wall through, is coming out at 880 feet per second on average, which took that over onto 12.55 foot-pound, and then 870 foot-pound feet per second, which took it, the S410, the rifle I shot the targets with, took them up to 12.27 foot-pound. So they were running hot, so be careful of that if you do run these. But out to range, they were quite good. They were shot out to 60 yards. I'm going to do another review and round up the first 5 pellets that I've done, and then give you an idea of what was happening as we went through that. So that's them in close detail. As you can see, the deformation test, I'm not going to do pinching it anymore because on 177 it just hurts your fingers. There's no real benefit. The tail's always going to deform. I think this is a better way of doing it. It gives you an idea of what happens when they're shot. But transposing through, speed that they hit the target at, I think they're just going to blast straight through a rabbit's brain, especially at close range. Come straight out the other side. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'll let you decide that. Let's move on to the target then. So on the delivery side, now this was the first target that I shot. I shot 2, and as you can see, this 17mm one here, no idea where that came from. I was really wishing that I'd shot 10 through this, but actually, as you can see, I'd only shot 6 when I was letting it in. But it looked to me like it was pretty much ready to go. There wasn't any flies or anything. So Went and shot that 117mm, thought, oh, these are dire, they're so light that they're just flying all over the place. And then ended up shooting this one, 10mm, and then 8mm here. So that was the first one I shot, second, third, the very first leading in phase. Couldn't quite fathom it out. Now this was done on the 15th of the 5th, so last month. I then went again later, tried to sort of console it in my head, can I actually report this? Thought, no, I can't, because it's not right, it's not fair to the pellet. So here you go, 3rd of the 6th, so last Friday, 9 mag again, standard test on through the air arms, and this is what we came back with. As you can see, leading in, shot 10 this time, just in case it was possible to use it. No need. We shot a 10 shot 9mm group, a 10mm group, and another 10mm group. These are at this point I was starting to think, oh, have I got a new pellet to start buying here? So let's take that into a bit more detail, because I normally get my ruler out, don't I? So it'd only be fair to do it. Now this one, granted, it's a bit subjective, but when I've looked at it, I'm quite happy to give that a 9. I would do it on this is not the normal ruler, this is my calibrated one, so it will change slightly, but it'd be 9mm. I mean, thing is, it starts there and it ends just in there. I'm happy to give that a 9. Hey, if you don't like it, then you can comment and we can change it. Probably need to do something with the format of this test anyway. Again, I'm quite happy for that to be 10mm, and maybe I am being generous with this target, but maybe it's just that the ruler's at the wrong angle, and that's another 10 in my opinion. So, you know, a 9, a 10 and a 10, that's not to be sniffed at, is it? Let's move over to the computer now, if I move all this out of the way. So, as you can see, this is how we do it. Total height, where's my mouse at? There it is. Total height, head bore, skirt length and the weight, and then the spread of each. So on the total height, the spread was 0.05, 0.04 for the head bore or head diameter, 0.25 on the skirt length. There was so much variation there, and the weight was actually really good. There's only 0.018 difference in the weight grain wise. So moving on to the top sheet then, where this all gets transposed over into. Oh, I can't believe I've done that. I've actually given you the scores straight away, haven't I? Because I've left all this open. Normally I hide these, don't I? Anyway, right, so you can work this out before you even get there, but just bear with me. So height wise, it scored as the Daystate and the Air Arms Diablo matches did on a 0.5 spread. Scored a 0.04 for the head bore, so quite a wide against the Air Arms, and the Air Arms matched the Daystates, etc. You can see there it's not the best. And the skirt, again, terrible on the skirt. It was pretty much the worst, barring the VMXs, which were, as we've agreed, dire. The weight was actually the best. It takes a front run on the weight, so weight pellet to pellet is absolutely fantastic at 0.18, and that gives you a total score once you add all these together and find the arithmetical mean, gives you 0.52. The cost score, so when I looked at it, so these are the costings here for muttings. They're actually quite a cheap pellet. They are the second cheapest. So when you look at these Daystates here, at £9.83, our current leaders on the leaderboard, these are actually over £1 cheaper a tin. Now, it's again, how precise do you want to be? And for me, I like that precision. I don't mind paying that little bit extra. When it comes to being on the on-target range, they're not much more than the actual Daystates themselves. They're about £1 more, I think, £1 less. So, you know, I can live with £1. You get 500 in a tin, so it score pretty much as the rest of them do there. Quality score 0.52, but the delivery score, as we're saying, came to 9.7. I'll let you look at the equation there. 10 to 10 plus a 9 divided by 3 gives us a 9.7. The comment I've put there is these are a very good quality pellet and very good on cost, and they're also really accurate. So let's have a quick look at the leaderboard then and see where it slots into. So it sits in second place below the Rangemasters, and they This is mainly because it scores, as you can see, I'll quickly run through it. It scores a 3 for cost. And again, I don't know if it's worth revisiting the cost and working out if we're doing this right. Maybe we should do, you know, £8 to, you know, try and split them out. But I don't think it made much difference, to be honest with you. If you went 750, you'd have to do it by 4 and get it up to 12, this and the other. But we can discuss that at a later date. Quality score, again, it scores a 3 on the quantity, sorry. Quality score, yeah, that's where it scores a 3 again. But on the accuracy, it just separates itself out from the other two, the JSBs and the Air Arms and the VMXs, by scoring a 4 there. So rather than these two, which scored well, that links back to the shape, but you know, 3s across the board, it you know, it just drops 1 basically on the quality score. If it could just sorted the skirt out, it would have probably been up there with the Daystates on the leaderboard. So that pretty much concludes these pellets. Let me know what you think. As always, feel free to comment, don't troll. I personally would be happy to use these. I just find them going a bit over power on my rifle. Other than that, fantastic. So yeah, as always, feel free to comment, don't troll, stay safe and shoot straight. See you next time. Bye.